Story 1. The desk that knew my name was 23 and fresh out of college when I took the graveyard shift at a mid-sized insurance call center. The building was old concrete, fluorescent, pipes that clicked like teeth when it cooled at night. They paid twice the day shift if you worked nights. And honestly, I thought the extra cash was worth the spreadsheets and sleepy customers on my first week. I was assigned a permanent desk at the back by the service stairs. It was one of those gray laminate cubicles with a nameplate holder screwed to the front. Iputa chipai. I mem a sticky note, where a nameplate should have gone because HR hadn't ordered hours yet. The nights were ghostly. Half the building was locked down and the only other living sound came from the break room. Vending machine humming like a lonely robot. The weirdness started small. At 2:13 a.m., I would get a call that dropped to voicemail no. Caller ID, no message. At first I assumed it was some system bug. Then, a coworker I barely knew, Aaron, began to leave notes on my desk. Not helpful work notes, little things like, you left your mug or turn your monitor down. He signed them with a smiley face. Aaron worked the day shift. I only ever saw him at handoff on Mondays. I told myself he was being helpful. I scribbled back. Thanks, the first time. The second time he left a post-it that said, you okay? You look tired. My skin crawled. How could he know? We'd never talked beyond training. The next night my computer logged me out in the middle of a call. When I restarted, my desktop background had been changed to a photo of my own cubicle taken from the hallway, my chair empty. Fluorescent lights glaring. The file was labeled with my full name. I checked the camera feed, there wasn't one pointed at our row. The security office shrugged. The camera angles didn't show our cubicles. I started bringing my bag and mug home every night. Things kept appearing. A half-drunk bottle of water, I hadn't had water that day. A pair of earbuds I didn't own. A clean stapler. The post-its escalated. One morning a note was taped across my keyboard. We remember, no signature. I reported it to HR. They did the obvious change to my desk assignment. Told me not to take things from others. Suggested stress leave. If I felt unsafe, the notes stopped for 2 weeks. The relief felt like sun after rain. Then, on a night in November, a new sticky appeared on the blank nameplate holder. It said simply, "Don't go yet." Beneath it, in neat, childish print, my full home address. I froze. I had never given that information at work. My mouth went dry. I grabbed my phone and called Aaron's number from the company directory. No answer. I called security and asked them to escort me to my car. They laughed it off old. Buildings played tricks, they said. Maybe a prank. A few minutes later, I took one last look at my cubicle before leaving. The chair was slightly turned, as if someone had just stood up. On the back of the chair, in the vinyl seam, a sticky note was tucked so small I almost missed it. It read, "Now you'll remember, I quit that week." HR filed a report, and months later, the company sent a blanket email about workplace privacy and new desk policies. I tried to tell myself it mattered more that I'd escaped a toxic office culture than that someone at work seemed to know where I lived. But every so often, in a grocery store or when I unlocked my apartment, I'd notice a sparkle in a window or a shadow out of place, and my chest would clench. The nameplate on my old desk remained blank in the photos they eventually posted for the new hire. One morning, someone replaced it with my sticky, "Hi, I'm Emma," and file stamped a single new note on the photo. "Welcome back." No one ever answered who took the picture, or how my address had been written with such familiarity. The company never reopened the investigation. I work from home now, and my desk has no nameplate holder at all. Story 2. The quiet one, the startup I joined, had the stereotypical open floor plan. Beanbags, kombucha on tap, the whole scene. People swapped desks constantly. Names rarely stuck. I was on the product team and sat across from a guy named Janamid. Quiet, very neat. Always the first in and last out. He never joined the after-work drinks, never showed interest in Slack jokes. Just there, steady and slightly off. You know those coworkers who comment on everything but aren't actually participating? Jonah was that, only more intense. He'd correct minor typos in others' messages, fix an icon color he thought didn't match, and then quietly leave a printed mock-up on your desk with a red circle highlighting your mistake. He made the whole team uncomfortable, but because he seemed competent and took responsibility, nobody pushed him away. One Thursday, the whole office stayed late for a product launch. We celebrated with cheap pizza and a playlist. At 1 a.m., most people left. Jonah stalled. He always stayed. The next day, a new person started, Marisa, a UX designer. She and Jonah hit it off quickly. He was oddly solicitous, and she lit up like a string of holiday lights. A week later, Marisa asked to switch desks, saying she wanted a quieter spot near Jonah. I remember her smiling when she said it, proud and oblivious. 2 weeks after that, Marisa was gone. She sent a short email. She'd accepted a role in another city. People speculated better pay, different ambitions. Jonah looked a little paler than usual. Then, similar things started to happen around Jonah's desk. Small items from Coworkers' bags would find their way to his drawer. A pair of gloves, a paper bag, a travel mug. He would return them, found with an apologetic note. Sorry, found this at my desk. He began to volunteer for after-hours tasks none of us asked him to do. He would help with a design and then subtly rewrite a colleague's slide deck or replace an image with one that flowed better, always retaining a hint of condescension. The escalation came fast. One teammate, Danny, complained privately about a string of disappearing lunch bags. His always went missing when he took a long call. Security checked the cameras and found nothing at first. Then someone asked Jonah about the missing lunches. He said, very plausibly, that he'd seen a raccoon in the loading bay and thought the janitor had tossed the leftover food. The janitor contradicted him. He said he never touched people's lunches. The conversation became a quiet, grinding thing. Everyone watching Jonah's neat hands when he typed, counting the seconds he took to look away. One night, a month into this, a newer employee posted on the company channel a GIF of a raccoon and joked about lunch thieves. Jonah replied with a single line. Truth is stranger. Keep your things close. It was casual, but you could feel the electricity in the room. Then Lisa, our office manager, went missing for 3 days. Her desk chair was pushed in, her computer logged in, but her keys and phone were missing from the usual spot. HR did the thing they do, emails, check-ins. A note of concern, but Lisa came back with a story. She'd gone home to deal with a family emergency and had her phone die. She was pale and beautiful with exhaustion. At the next all-hands, Jonah handed out little laminated cards he had made to improve team safety guidelines for securing personal property. Tips for digital hygiene. He suggested a buddy system. No one wanted to look ungrateful. Jonah had the air of someone trying to help. But after the meeting, a box of Lisa's personal things was found in Jonah's locked drawer, her travel mug, a scarf with lipstick stain, a sticky note with a phone number she'd scribbled for herself. Denied Italiano. He said he had found the box abandoned near the mailroom. The archiere person, tired and stretched thin, let it go. Jonah's drawer remained locked. People started bringing locks for their desks. They changed their morning routines. Lunches became an hour-long group affair so nobody ate alone. Months later, Marisa called me out of the blue. She had left the job, moved across the country, but something gnawed at her. She told me she'd checked into Jonah's social media and had found a folder of photos, team outings, candid smiles, people alone at their desks. In the captions, Jonah had dates and small notes, left early, alone at 2 a.m. good time. He had charted habits. She said it felt like watching someone map quiet, ordinary vulnerabilities into a plan. We reported it again, this time with more people. Jonah was put on leave while the company investigated. He came back 2 weeks later as if nothing had happened. His desk was in the same corner. He smiled with the same polite precision. I left that startup 6 months later. They told me a lot of legal-sounding things about insufficient evidence. Jonah is still there, they said, in the last I heard. Sometimes workplaces aren't haunted by ghosts, at all, just by people who watch too closely and wait for everyone else to fall asleep. 3. After hours, I used to work support at a hospital IT for a chain of clinics. Night shifts were routine. Systems, checks, backups, and the occasional pager for a frantic nurse. Hospitals have their own kind of quiet, an atmosphere that knows how to hold breath and let it out slowly. One night I got a call about a badge access error. An employee named Claire couldn't get into the records room. I went down to take a look. The hallway smelled of antiseptic and burnt coffee. Claire was a new hire, soft-voiced. Earnest, she told me she'd left her badge on her desk after an overnight shift and couldn't access patient files, which she needed to close out charts. I waved my toolkit at the card reader, jiggled the wiring, rebooted the little terminal. The badge reader showed dozens of access attempts that night, repeated swipes at odd hours, after midnight, when Claire was supposed to be home. Maybe another badge, I said, but the logs were granular, the same badge ID. Ober and Ober swiped at doors Claire hadn't needed to use for months. We cross-checked with security video. At first, the footage showed nothing. Dark hallways and empty records room, Claire's lights off. Then, at 3:06 a.m., a figure in scrubs is seen walking down the far corridor, turning the corner by the supply closet and stopping as if to listen. The camera angle is grainy and the timestamp flickers, but you can tell the person hesitates in front of Claire's wing. The footage cuts out for 30 seconds. When it returns, the corridor is empty and Claire's badge attempts spike on the log. We pulled the footage for the entire week. Every night between 2:30 and 4 a.m., some figure drifted the holes near Claire's desk, never fully in frame, always in the periphery. Security swapped tapes, checked cameras, found no conclusive face. They blamed glitches, maybe mice chewing on cables. Claire started missing days, calling in with headaches and exhaustion. She said she felt watched, that someone had been rifling her purse once, leaving it slightly open. Her supervisor suggested counseling, that sleep deprivation could cause paranoia. I wasn't sure what to think. The logs were factual access. Attempts timestamped to the second, and the footage was a maddeningly grainy nothing. A week later, Claire didn't come back. HR left a terse email. Resignation accepted. The records showed she'd cleared her desk. A note said she had personal reasons. We packed up her things. On her keyboard, tucked under a post-it, someone had written, in a looping hand, "Don't leave it unlocked. I worked nights for 2 more years." Sometimes, when the hospital hummed and the neon signs outside painted the ceilings, I'd see a shadow slide past the nurse's station, and then the CCTV would show nothing. Eventually, I learned the feeling looking for pattern in the random. I learned how institutions shrugged at things that don't have a clean explanation. One rainy night, I was doing a routine backup, and a pager lit up, an unauthorized access alert. The system had blocked 27 attempts at a locked pharmacy door. I drove down the hall to find security standing with a portable reader. The log showed swipes at 2:47 a.m. The camera footage, for once, was clear. An eye-cleaning crew member, a man named Luis, walked by the pharmacy, stopped, and reached for the door. He swore he hadn't touched it. He had a keycard, he said, for the janitor's stockroom, but not the pharmacy. He cleaned the floors and went home. We checked Luis's badge history. He'd been in the building for years. His logs bland. He said he sometimes worked double shifts, that he liked the quiet. Nothing incriminating popped. We let him go that week anyway, more for the attendance inconsistencies than anything else. The investigator called it a personality mismatch. Months later, I was cleaning up a backup and found an archived file labeled with Claire's badge ID. I opened it and found a folder of scanned paperwork. Notes from night shift nurses. A dated list of who basically worked after hours. And in the margins of one of the notes, a name repeated 3 times. A maintenance work order with scribbles in the margins. The kind of note only someone who'd been reading the binder at 3 a.m. would leave. Claire's winged-out smell. Check door. We reopened the case, but evidence evaporated like mist. People leave. Cameras glitch. Memory degrades. Hospitals prefer solutions that minimize lawsuits. Claire never sent a forwarding address. Luis moved to another facility. The badge logs continue to show occasional phantom swipes that we chalk up to magnetic interference in aging readers. Every so often I still dream of the corridor, That grainy footage frame where someone stands just out of the light and turns, almost toward the camera. I wake up with my hands tight on the sheets and the smell of antiseptic in my nose. I left hospital IT 2 years later to work in remote infrastructure at. These servers don't wander the hallways.